Hello, Uta here. This is an acalygia, also known commonly as columbine, a Native American wildflower. There are the leaves, and there's the little flower with the spikes going up, and you can see on the inside it's a little bit yellow. These are the traditional native ones. Some of them come, if they're cultivated, in other colors besides the red and the yellow, but the red and the yellow is the wild variety. And this is a very happy making thing for me because I have seeded and transplanted many of these out into my woods and put them in where I have pulled up the garlic mustard, the cow parsley, and some of the other non native invasive weeds because non native invasive weeds will make a monoculture and push out the native flowers like violets or like the columbine or like the Solomon seal and the jack in the pulpit. And these are very important for our insects, which have co evolved with these plants. That's my project out in the woods, as I wrote in my trans widow memoir, In the Curated Woods, True Tales from a Grass Widow. Interestingly, I have now really given up on trying to give us an alternative name like Grass Widow because Trans Widow is the one that is being used more commonly. Kellie Jay Keen appeared on Megyn Kelly and spoke about trans widows. Thank you to both of them. And recently, a young woman YouTuber named Sydney Watson. Thank you very much, Sydney. I put comments under both of those and mentioned this channel, which now has 800, more than 800 subscribers. Thank you, new subscribers. This is mostly a thank you for this, but I am thinking perhaps since just overnight I got suddenly 15 more subscribers, or maybe even in the last 24 hours, I got 20 new subscribers or something. And usually it's just going up a few a day. And so I'm kind of wondering if the public's awareness of us ex wives of men who ideate themselves an opposite sex or a female persona, I'm wondering if suddenly people are becoming aware. Now, this is probably thanks to Katie Tyson, who is suddenly quietly divorced already from this character on that show, Mr. Beast, which the only thing I can say about that is I recommend if you have children watching this to unsubscribe yourself after putting dislikes into their feed. They need some feedback. I'm not on Facebook. Trans widows generally get banned permanently from. I said it wrong. I am on Facebook under Uta Hagen. I am not on Twitter because trans widows in general get permanently banned from Twitter simply for saying something like, I've heard of two of us who have ended their own lives because it became so impossible due to their husbands or ex-husbands' narcissistic abuse. Now, I will mention that soon I will be giving a second edition, a second chapter of Viola. I'll just tell you briefly that she was stalked. The father of her child started stalking her at times when they had not agreed that, he could come and visit the child and things like that. This is the one who went off and decided to go to school after the child was born, and he is creating himself a female identity after suddenly putting on her clothes in front of everyone around the child's birthday, first birthday. So that's Viola, and I was also stalked by my then husband, but we were not living together at that point. That would have been this was the year kind of it went from 95 when I got him to move out after I discovered he had been taking estrogen for quite some time secretly. And he did this business of coming back to the apartment building and banging on the door in the morning, demanding to take our older child to school and be the one delivering him to school without that having been a plan. He also called up at all hours and demanded that I wake up the children so that he could talk to them and things like that. And he was having um, scheduled visitation, although he was demanding to have the children every weekend and really kind of demanding that I take some kind of nanny role. And I was misidentified. Talk about, misgendering. I was misidentified by people in that school community as the nanny. Part of me was sort of flattered because instead of being I imagined if they were calling me that they thought I was 23 instead of 37. Now, speaking of the abuse of trans widows, this is also very much encouraged and advocated by the diagnosing psychologists and the affirming therapists. So, this is what was written in a 1996 affidavit by Dr. Connie, who, in the summer of 1993, in the first initial appointment, diagnosed Nettie, my then husband, as, in the term they used and in the term she used in this, a transsexual. Okay, so what she wrote is in a sworn affidavit submitted in the custody case. This was 1996. We finally came to the court dates and things. So Dr. Connie wrote, "It is quite possible that Uta Hagen's inability to come to terms with Nettie's gender condition and her insistence on Nettie's moving out of the family home forced making the decision to live full-time as female. Uta Hagen's continued expressed anger," which I actually didn't express anger. I just said, no, I'm not going to wake up the children. No, they're sleeping already and it's 9 o'clock. They are 4 and 7. No. So that there's this exaggerated interpretation of very rational, calm behavior on the part of the wife. Okay, expressed anger towards Nettie would appear to be the result of her private frustration and rage with the rest of the world and the acceptance of Nettie's transition and Uta's inability to find her own. Now, I accepted that I could not change what was happening, but I accepted responsibility for our children, and I consulted with a well-trained developmental psychologist who was very expensive and did not take plans. And from him, I learned that, yes, my children could be very traumatized, and I needed to be as calm and stable and be the one sailing very calmly into these choppy waters. Okay. She appears to wish problems to exist where none do. Now, let me just say that again. She, meaning she's referring to Uta. Uta appears to wish for problems to exist where none do. So, we're just watching now this YouTube channel character doing a public transition, along with a few other people, a few other men who ideate a female persona. And we are just wondering, why is there this vilification of the mothers of the children? And why is there this mother erasure whereby the father of the children demands to be called some version of mother? That has already uh, been explored by Viola's ex, that fortunately she's not married to him, so there will be no custody case. I'm very pleased with her situation because it will be easier for her. But unfortunately, she's already had problems in their social group because people are getting quite political and they're asking children to change the way they talk about this person. And that is manipulation. It's actually ritual conditioning and manipulation, which is a part of brainwashing. So, back out to the wildflowers. Thank you. Like and tell your friends to subscribe.